All right. So, this is what, session 4?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I
Something
think
like
so.
that.
Session 4. Okay, so, let me also pull up the incarnate keep, and just so you guys are aware, I will be updating this picture as you guys build stuff. So you can
Yep.
change you'll be able to change the terrain and whatnot. So right now you guys have started construction on the palisade, and you've gotten that taken care of. There was like a building that was kind of used as like the barracks kind of hangout for the bandits where they were living outside. Um, and that has been transformed into the Hag's Respite, a new inn. And in addition to this, of course, you have a huge amount of forest located within your current palisade walls that you're slowly chopping up and using as raw materials.
Alright.
And we do technically have a mountain to our back, so we can hire some dwarven miners to get stone raw material as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just looking through that for like a building that could count as like a mine or something.
Hmm?
So that would be probably a good idea to get into at some point.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, if we found any kind of ores there, we wouldn't have to build a mine ourselves. Just contact any dwarves. Like, hey, we've got ore. You want some? Just give us 10%.
Do I need to play the dwarf going to work song?
Oh god, no. Please no high
That would
ho.
be fantastic, actually. Oh yeah, it says yeah, the raw resources that count for a mill to be built include metal and gems. So you
Yeah.
could just call it a mill and put her in there.
Yeah, because there's multiple types of mill.
Mhm. Awesome.
Alrighty. So, what are your guys' plans so far? So, during this construction time, it's going to take about 2 months to build the entire palisade, for the inn to be built, and for things like that to happen. So what are you guys is going to be doing during this quote unquote downtime?
Making more money.
So what are your characters' goals, and what are they going to be accomplishing and doing while this is occurring?
Hmm.
Huh. Hold on, I gotta pull up my.
So, Jareth kind of feels responsible for us unleashing a tyrant.
Forgot
Uh,
about that part in the
yeah.
sea of other shit.
Yeah, seriously. But no, his thing, what he would mainly want to do is try and get allies any way he can. Not sure how to go about that at the moment.
You would need to hire a diplomat.
That would be beneficial, yeah.
He's like the friend I talked shit about.
So you would need to hire diplomats, and then if you were to do things like trade or anything like that, you would also need to find a way to get the other, let's just say, local powers to recognize you.
Yep, and we'll need trade resources, which means um so I was originally thinking we should head for the undead first, but maybe we should head for the trade city on the coast first.
For the what for? What were you thinking first originally?
Originally, I was thinking we should go talk to the Lich and see if we can get basically a peace treaty with them, but maybe we should head to the trade city.
Probably.
The
I would-
trade city is Free Harbor?
I would say do that first in case that lich doesn't vibe with us and just decides to try and kill us.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have the backup of another city probably before we go up
Yeah,
there.
before we go lich hunting.
Yeah, definitely.
So it depends. One of the things that I, as AdCon, would be suggesting is wanting to do is making his way back to his old city where he used to be a soldier, and see if he can recruit people from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a pretty
that's
long
not a bad
ways
idea.
away. You were from
It is.
4A, remember?
Yes,
And it's
so,
more
but the
like a
thing,
mountain trading village in an actual city.
Where did we put?
yeah,
the
but there's
map again?
sorry, I'm
There
just
it
thinking
is.
more like there's people there that I'm thinking I could leverage, or at least use some of my connections with them to potentially get some people, some more forces.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, how far up is the world map again?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
might need to
actually, I was
pin
just
that.
looking for it as well.
It's fucking somewhere.
It's in general. It's not actually in the campaign.
Oh, that would help.
Okay, I gotta fix that.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. I'm like, let me look somewhere else.
I'll pin them to the chat when they're.
There we go.
Oh, here.
Okay, they are pinned to the chat.
So yeah, like if we want to do Free Harbor first, that's all for it, because kind of almost the best way to go to Torre is perhaps through Dark Wasteland. But
Yep, and we don't really want to go through the Dark Wasteland until we talk to the undead because they probably encroach through there.
yeah,
So yeah, I definitely think we should go through the main trade road and head to Free Harbor first.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Right?
One other issue before we leave, though. Do we have an NPC that we trust to actually leave in charge of the place?
Oh, crap. I didn't even think of that. Hmm.
Because I mean, just traveling south to Free Harbor will probably be gone like 3 days at the most. Maybe more than that, depending on how long we spend there.
I don't think there's actually any NPCs we have around that we've talked to at this point.
That you trust that well.
Yeah, no.
Well, Jeb will take good care of the place.
Oh no. Forgot about Jeb.
Yeah.
You know? And I'll be sure to mention them airstrips and hopefully have you actually seated in them this time.
oh man,
There are, of course, professional stewards you might hire.
do we trust Jeb?
Not as far as I can throw him.
No, exactly. Oh.
Wow, I'm feeling a little. You guys really don't like my NPC. Well, to be fair, they're not exactly the most trustworthy
Trustworthy.
of sorts.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, I would trust any variation of Pup over Jeb to
You would
guard the
leave a
castle.
dog in charge.
Yes.
I would trust one of the ex-slaves.
Listen,
that we
man, people
currently
like
have.
dogs.
Yeah,
Well,
we
except
could.
that one time.
Yeah.
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 Listen, man,
Yeah.
you don't have a very
We
good.
don't talk about
You,
that, do we?
you don't have a very good track record.
I reposted it because for some reason, that version didn't have a very good zooming in. This version's like that HD, so.
Okay, and you repinned it.
Yep.
Cool. That way we have a quick link. Yeah, we can talk to one of the slaves. Best to not have Jareth talk to them with the issues that goes on whenever he tries to convince people of things.
And yet he's the most effective at it.
He is, but I don't want random shit happening when we're trying to well, I don't know, we could end up with more money.
You could end up with a lot more money. You could end up with a pet dragon for all you know.
Okay, I'm going to roll a d2. Let's see. Do we talk to one of the slaves, and do we have Jareth talk to one of the slaves, or do we have somebody else talk to one of the slaves? One, Jareth does it, two, somebody else. And that's a 1.
Right.
Let's do it.
All right. So yeah, are we actually starting now, or this is pre?
I know we're starting. That's fine. Though before you do this, I'm gonna have, because this is gonna be part of your preparations and stuff like afterwards, because you're gonna be leaving the keep.
Right.
What is everyone gonna be doing during the downtime? By the way, during the downtime, a strange experiment happens when you're putting together back the library, and in a massive explosion, this unusually curled character appears. Would you like to introduce your character, Duncan?
So there's a very blonde high elf, basically laying on the ground, like kind of coughing lightly, like he's like got soot in his lungs, something to that effect. And he finally kind of like draws himself up, and you see these like almost like symmetrically shaped like scars, almost like something like whipped him across both sides of the face. Oh fuck, where did I put this? Sorry, one sec. I have the art on. Do-do-do. And he kind of looks around at everyone. He's wearing this very fine white white coat, and he looks to all of you. Just where the hell am I?
Well, just because just because he's so surprised, Jareth has not called for the guards, and you hear just, well, what the fuck?
Maracas is like up on one of those ladders, that you can slide around libraries. And he just he looks down, also with surprise, but he just puts his finger out and says, "Keep your voice down, we're in a library."
Yeah,
Oh
Adcon is
my,
just currently hauling a bunch of books in his arms, and he's unsure if he should be dropping them.
my apologies. Sorry.
Jareth sticks his hand out. Jareth, I am. I guess you'd say I'm the ruler here of this keep.
Oh, I am most certainly not where I was.
If you were in Croft Keep, then you were.
And he just starts to like shake his head. What? No, I most certainly was not.
Well then, friend, how did you find your way into our library?
I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Ozymandias Masanto. And the name Masanto is like it is a very noble elf name, and you can see when he turns like kind of face all of you, the ones that he's like facing away from, on the back of this white coat is a like blue like cobalt like shield with a like crimson or like a copper colored fox on it. Ozymandias Masanto, but everyone just calls me Oz or Ozzy.
So, Ozymandias, before the explosion happened in your experiment, you remember some kind of strange, high-pitched, eerie sound, as if some kind of strange interference. You're hearing that now.
You see him kind of like almost like grind a knuckle into one ear. Anyone else hear that?
Uh, don't believe so.
Hmm.
It seems to be originating from one particular location, sort of. Would you like to roll me a perception check to see if you can better discern where it's coming from?
Sure. 16. 16.
Okay. Give me a second. Getting my clickety clacks.
Yee.
All right. So you successfully discern that the sound is coming from what appears to be this unusual man with a weird kind of like handmade crown, sort of. You know, the person he said he was in charge. It's coming from his chest.
Ozymandias walks up and starts like kind of like tries to like lean his head and like listen to Jareth's like chest, like his heart.
It's
To
something
you.
he has around his neck for sure.
And he looks up and looks at looks at like I assume it's the necklace.
Yes. Though you don't know, your character doesn't know what it is exactly.
Can
That
I
is
help
what
The
you?
making
moment he does that, though, uh, Akon is going to have dropped the books. You're going to have heard a clatter of books, and all of a sudden, Akon is beside him with a dagger to his throat.
Roll me stealth.
Stealth? Okay.
Oh no, this is just like straight. But yeah, Jareth would grab his
Natural
hand
one.
before. Oh,
What did you get? Natural
Four in
one?
total. Yeah, natural one with four. Four in
All
total
right,
for
you stumble over one of the books and you almost impale him. You managed to right
And
yourself just like right beforehand.
immediately Ozzy takes like a step back and like blue magic kind of dances across his fingertips. Careful now.
yep.
It's not behave. That necklace is making that infernal noise. Just where the hell did you find that?
Okay, that's a long story.
And at the moment, your character doesn't know what's on the necklace. FYI, it's the hourglass, Jareth.
Yeah, I figured that.
Okay.
So Jareth starts. He's not a big talker, so he starts to open his mouth, closes it, opens it again. You know what? I'll give you the short version. This was given to us by some weird creature in a cave in the middle of the desert, and it fucks with time. Period. Don't touch it.
That's why I'm here. You see, I am
You-
something of a scientist, I would call myself. I tend to mess with the laws of time in particular.
Uh huh.
Maracas is very intrigued by this. How about you do this, Ozzy? If you don't mind me calling you that.
By
Can
the
you
way,
repeat that?
guys, while you guys are talking, everyone except Ozymandias starts hearing a song that tickles the back of your head. Everyone, roll me a history check that can hear this.
That's a 6.
That's an 8.
Wow, 10 for Maracas.
Okay, well, you barely met the DC. Thank God. It is a tavern song that it is labeled. There are two names for it. The first is Pomp and Circumstance, but the more common name is The Fool Who Would Be King. And you hear this music echoing slightly throughout the halls, but unfortunately, Ozzy does not hear this.
Maracas
he's
runs to
talking
the
like
window. Oh, I was gonna say Maracas runs to the window and yells down at Jeb to turn down the goddamn music.
Jareth is a step behind Young. At least play something better. Like fucking Hey Jude or anything.
Ozzy, are you confused by this?
Oh, so now you guys are the ones hearing weird things.
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
god.
no.
Oh no.
Is that? Do we hear that laugh?
Yes.
All right. Uh, perception check to try to figure out where it came from.
Roll it.
That's very alarming.
Jareth just, as soon as he hears that, he's
That's just
drawing his
sick.
bow.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Dude, it's totally coming from Jareth for some reason.
Jareth, you freaked me out.
It's
Sounded
not.
like that. Sounded like that crazy gnome we saw the other day.
It's not me.
Persuasion.
Well, we're
That's a 16.
do you imposed insight or opposed? Ooh, 21.
Nah, he totally did it.
All right.
You see him
This
standing
isn't
there.
funny, Jareth.
Yeah, you see him. You see Jareth standing in front of you, bow drawn, arrow not knocked but resting on the rest, looking extremely annoyed and confused, and confused because you're saying it's coming from him, annoyed because of the laugh.
Hmm.
A guard
It's a
bursts
very weird.
in. My lord, we have a problem.
Yeah, figured that. What's up?
All the fish. They returned. They I don't know how to say this, but
Did they get up and walk away?
no, they're
No,
pickled.
that's ridiculous. What?
That's not a problem. That just means they'll last longer.
All of the fish.
But all of it, we didn't do it. It just happened.
I know what's going on. Alright, Fizzywig, do you actually have something to say to us, or are you just here to fuck with us?
No response.
Alright, I assume he's just here to fuck with us then. Let's continue with what we were doing and just ignore it. So, Ozzy, you want a beer?
He contemplates. I think I'll pass. I appreciate the offer, less.
Understandable? So I turn to the guard that bust in. Alright, so get a barrel, pack the fish in. We need to store for winter anyway, so this is fine. Just get everything set up. I'll I'll go check the lake, see if he did anything to the lake. But just expect weird shit to happen for I don't know how long because we have a crazed mad god on our hands.
Oh, also, sir. Sorry to bother you about this, but
Would you?
there's some beggars at the
Yeah.
gate, and they're asking for sanctuary.
I'll deal with that personally before I head to the lake. You guys coming?
Khan's just glaring at
I'd
Ozzy.
still like to know more or less where the hell I am.
Well, take a walk with us, Ozzy, and we can fill you in a little bit.
Yeah.
The head scribe appears at basically a guard who is a functionary that's good with numbers and begins reading out the day's counts, how much money you've made, all of that fun stuff.
Alright, keep up the good work. Let's go see these beggars.
Oh, do you want red or blue for your chambers, by the way?
Jareth just looks at him. I'm blue. How badly do you think that would clash with me? And just keeps walking.
He scratches his head. You know, I'm good with numbers, not fashion.
I don't understand complementary colors.
Yeah, as you walk out, like Jareth hits the sunbeam, and you realize walking out the door is a 6'6" Air Genasi.
Floating above the ground as if walking is nothing but mere inconvenience.
Oh, I don't have that ability to keep that up yet. I can only do it for a short time.
All right. So you guys arrive it's been it's been about a month or so since you've been getting used to your life in the keep, and the outer palisade has been built. The beginnings of the lumber mill has been constructed and it's beginning to function somewhat. It's not quite up to standard 100% yet, and the building that was converted into an inn is serviceable, but it's not quite up there yet either. At the gate, you see a few guards holding torches against a group of refugees. One of them looks particularly, well, let's just say they look particularly prominent in the fact of how wretched they look. And they're begging to be allowed inside, a refuge from the horrors outside, horrors of the world.
Hello there, you. What can we help you with at Croft Keep? What has happened to you?
Oh, please, good sir. Uh, I, it, we could really use some help. We really need to. He starts coughing, and some small amounts of red and blood, like red and green mucus, pops out of his mouth and lands on the ground. Sorry, that happens sometimes. I'm a
Are,
little sick, you see.
do we have a healer?
No, we haven't been able to find one yet.
Wouldn't look at me.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll a medicine check to see if I can just figure anything out about this. Nope, that's a 10.
Do I have anything in medicine? I barely do. Nope, that's even worse. I have no idea what he's got.
Obviously, he has foot fungus. That's the only thing that could cause this.
Makes sense. He's on his knees down from his weary travels, and he says, "Oh, please, could we have a place to stay, or maybe just a coin for food?" Surely,
Uh,
surely, such fine lords as yourselves could provide for us for at least a day, so we can move onwards.
Alright, since you're sick, we can set you up some tents outside the walls. And how are you with pickled fish?
Oh, that was the source of my malady. I ate a fish. It was pickled, and then he looks to himself. This is what happened.
You know, awaken PTSD in this guy.
Oh shit.
This entire time, Adcon is glaring at Ozzy. Does it seem like Ozzy has any recognition of this guy? Like, because Adcon is thinking the timing is odd. Is this something Ozzy put them
No,
up
this
to?
guy's a stranger.
Okay.
Alright. Well, crap. Maybe not have people eat that fish then.
What did you roll for a medicine check?
Hmm?
What is it? What did anyone roll for the medicine check?
I rolled a 6.
I got a 10.
Oh, you met the DC.
My
Looking over
goodness.
him, you've determined he has something rather unpleasant. You recoil in instinct because you've determined that this person has leprosy, a very
Oh.
contagious in this world, a fatal disease.
Isn't leprosy
Strangely
fatal
enough,
in the real
though,
world?
It is.
strangely
Just
enough, though, well, I mean, there's like in this world, there's almost no real medicine for it, so yeah, fatal. Um, in any case, you notice that the rest of the people besides this beggar don't seem to be affected by leprosy. Only this particular one.
Thank you, sir. We will take your plea into account, but we must be talking to the next people in line. If you wouldn't mind just standing over there by the side of the gate, we'll get back to you in a couple minutes here.
He gestures
And
to
he'll
everyone else to follow him. Oh, very
Nope.
well. We will
no,
sit
no,
by the gate.
No.
the rest of you. We must talk to each of you individually.
Yep. We have to conduct interviews because you can't be too careful. So, I think. What do you
Is that
think?
is that going to require
The
a?
man goes on the floor and sits in a meditative position.
Jareth will kind of sidle over to Akon. Do you think we could have like a hermit's hut built out by the lake for the sick one?
Probably not too close to the lake.
I
Try to
can
keep him out of the water supply.
I can certainly go get the people or our other guys, and I'll get on that. Shoots Ozzy a dirty glare before he heads off.
Good, thank you. All right. Okay, let's see about the rest of them. As long as they're not sick, I'm okay letting them in, but maybe keep the sick one as far away from us as possible.
Yeah, we'd like to talk to some of the other people that are there as well.
Yep.
They all seem to have rather similar responses to one another. They all say that they came from Azrael after a great catastrophe. They won't speak much of it, and they only speak of their leader as a kind and courageous man who led them through the darkness.
Insight on that. Good lord.
You
Oh,
roll
god
it.
damn it. That's a 9.
Seems legit.
Well, he does truly seem like a great man, even though he may be a little, well, quite ill at this point.
Ah, yes, uh, well, he definitely has seen better days. The trials of our travels have hit him more than others.
Yes. We do have a quarantine procedure for anyone that's sick, so he will have to stay away from the group, but
Please, no, we have to stay with him. You don't understand.
Can you bring him to us?
it's the sick guy.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's specifically him. Gotcha.
Yep. I mean, he's not being separated. I'm fine with you guys living here, but he's very sick. Like I don't know what he's got, but I can tell he's sick. We don't want everybody getting sick and dying, you know?
Maracus, you may make an additional medicine check with advantage if you take the time to go through some books and try to figure out, using some more context information, what you can figure out. Ozzy, you also may make a medicine check if you so desire.
Right.
I will definitely try that at least. Also, Maracus will let them all know what he figured out about him having leprosy. Seems like
19.
important information.
What did you get? You said 19?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's weird. You kind of get the feeling that, yeah, this is leprosy. It has all the traits of leprosy, but he should be dead by now.
I just want to say,
Ozzy kind of like pulls them off to the side. Everyone off to the side. He he should be long since expired. Frankly, it's a miracle that he's not.
Well, I'm used to weird shit happening, especially since we met Fizzywig and
You keep
it
saying that name,
I hate
Fizzywig.
that name.
yeah, so he was a gnome, but he was a trickster god, very bad, very insane and evil.
I'm not evil.
Then what are you?
I'm just me.
All right, then
Here,
you
I'll give
can
you a
be
kiss.
somewhere else. No, no, thank you. Don't
Theo,
take
you love
anything
these
from
like
me.
absolute bastard trickster characters. Between this and the goose,
only one out of every like 10 NPCs is not super mischievous.
Yep.
again, like between the goose and this, like I'm sensing a pattern.
Yeah. Well, what they say. Peace was never an option.
Yeah,
They do be saying that.
but yeah, Ozzy, don't take anything he offers you.
Oh, absolutely not.
So, did you get bored of the Sultan?
Yes, you wouldn't do what I wanted.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
doubt
good to
we're
know.
going to do anything you want either. We're just boringly trying to keep a kingdom running.
Ah, you're right. That's what I need. I need to find some puppet strings. Okay, beer back.
Alright, so how is this sick person still alive?
Maracus is gonna talk to the sick man, and he'll say, "Excuse me, sir, but I don't know if I got your name."
My name is Boris.
Boris, are you a holy man, Boris? Do you possess any of the divine magics?
I am one who consoles those who have nowhere else to go, but I would not say I am divine. Not as such.
Not narcissistic enough to be a cult leader. Okay.
Tell me, what is that foul creature that you have plaguing your place?
Creature. What do you mean?
Why, you know. He waves in a general direction.
Oh, no, I don't know. What are you talking about? Things have been peaceful here so far.
I see. Ah, no matter.
Hmm. Well, Boris, we only have room here for those that can contribute. So what can you and your people bring to us and help us with?
Well, we offered nothing but humility and respect.
It's a rough start.
Yep, not looking good so far. And Maracus writes a note down on his clipboard for this interview. Hmm. Is there anything else other than humility? I think our humility store is already full.
Humility stores no humility and respect fill no bellies.
We need farmers, we need lumbermen, we need miners. Guardsmen, we're always in need of guardsmen. Diplomats, people that are good with money, people that are good with actual grain storage, bakers. Jarrett's just listing like everything they need to keep the kingdom running.
Hmm.
Tell me, Lord, what is it that you would take from us? What is it you would desire? You seem
Labor.
to be nothing more
Never a good
than
question.
one who wants to build a kingdom.
I just want to get along peacefully, you know? I just want a peaceful home. If you can work, you're fine to stay here.
We do not wish to take from you, but we cannot afford only to give at this time.
I wonder if Baron was also fastidious in his time.
Maracus looks at him just aghast and says, "Pardon me? What was that name you just said?"
Whatever to roll me a perception check, since your passes failed to see this earlier.
Yep. It's a 17 for me.
Ah, excellent. You notice that around his eyes are an edge of white. He is clearly blind.
You're a blind seer.
Well, I found that my eyes are, well, unnecessary in most things. So I ask you thrice: are you unwilling to be charitable to those who most need it, even if it does not benefit yourselves?
I'm not unwilling to be charitable. We don't mind sparing coin or allowing people to stay, but again, everyone needs to pull their weight.
But my group and my troop, they are too, let's say, weak to work. They are the old and the elderly and the infirm, those who have nowhere else to go.
One moment. I pull the group into a huddle. I mean, the elderly can sew, they can patch clothing, they can do minor jobs.
I
And
don't like. I'll admit, I don't like this very much.
it, Jareth looks Ozzy right in the eyes. Have you ever heard the story of the people that turned away the beggars?
Oh yes, I'm well aware.
That's why I'm being cautious with this.
I understand, but that doesn't make me like.
Oh, I don't like it either, but I mean, I'm not disingenerous. I don't mind giving them food, I don't mind giving them coin, but if they want to stay here, we can't just have people sitting around doing nothing.
Frankly, I am okay having them here. My only issue is this man is obviously ill, and rather whether or not he can stay alive for much longer or not, this disease can spread very easily in between the people here, and
Now,
we need to be very careful if
I
we
agree
do
with that as
bring him
well.
in.
What we can do is set up a little suburb for them. Actually, have a place made. Right now, the only thing we can afford is tents for them, but eventually we can have some huts built up and we can have them away from the rest of the village, but they're still part of it. And we could have them do light work like mending clothing, cooking a bit, at least, but we would keep the sick one out of as much work as possible.
Yes, the seer Boris, he should be kept hopefully in his own tent until maybe he gets better or we can find a way to heal him.
Yeah, but they won't leave him. They won't leave his side, so we'll set the tent. We'll set the whole tent area up slightly away from the rest. Well, more than slightly, but away from the rest of the camp, just as a quarantine measure, since he is sick and they are all so close to him.
Yeah, that sounds like it could work.
All right, Jareth will turn around to the rest of the group and speak louder this time. All right, you can all stay, but we don't have room in the main keep walls at the moment. We are expanding, and we do have an area that has just recently been cleared for lumber. The only thing we can offer right now is tents, but eventually we will be able to build you huts. And we're not asking for hard work, just if you can sew or patch clothing, maybe cook a little bit, pitch in. We're not asking you to break your backs daily.
There is also a 2-week quarantine policy, and you'll probably all have to wear masks. How do you feel about these terms?
Well, I think we can work within them. Give me 1 second, guys.
Mhm.
So just a heads up, Akon is still gathering things, so he's not there to hear any of this.
Yep.
Okay. I thought he was just standing there stoically staring at Ozzy.
No, no, no. I've given him a dirty look, and I've got to
Yeah, you guys
gather.
really don't. You guys really don't
Okay,
trust me,
okay.
huh?
Well,
Oh,
he doesn't.
Akon is.
To be fair, no one really knows anything about you. You just kind of like appeared in the
Correct.
library. We haven't really dove into your story quite yet.
Yep. And Jareth's 13 intelligence, his way of dealing with problems that are just out of the blue is to ignore them until they become an issue.
Oh yeah, isn't Eggcon like a genius now?
Yes. Yes, I am. I have 18 intelligence.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh yeah, you pulled a card, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
He
I went from
And-
6 intelligence to 18.
Not to mention the fact that he grew intelligent enough to realize he shouldn't draw another fucking card.
Yeah.
Yep,
That was unfortunate.
that was unfortunate.
Uh, oh yeah, did I ever put that spell sword in here? Did
I
put
don't
that in my
know.
inventory yet? Oh, I did, but I. God damn it. Play. Okay, I did put it in here, right?
Yeah, I've got that nice shield. Boosts my AC very nicely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if we get a chance to actually do some more stuff in this downtime, I think I don't know if there's any benefit I could get from it, but I want to check out that Arctis Tower more
Oh yeah,
since I
definitely.
since I took a wizard dip.
Yeah, I mean, during a downtime, I think, like if we're talking downtime straight up, like beyond what we're doing right now, like I think AdCon would be spending a bit of time like trying to train some of the self like bandits that we had employed.
Yeah,
I
that makes
think
sense.
Jareth would be taking the spider silk and getting it fitted to his armor.
That makes good sense. Yeah.
Because that will probably take a few days.
All right, almost done. Sorry, guys.
No worries. Is Ozzy a sorcerer?
No, he's a wizard.
Oh, nice.
Chrono
Okay.
Mage.
Yep.
Oh, fucking dope.
Majors are awesome.
Yeah, they can be.
I still don't trust Ozzy though.
I got that.
Yep, and Jareth is being Jareth and just ignoring the problem until it becomes a bigger problem.
Yep.
And then breaking down.
Oh, he don't break down unless his direct actions get someone killed. If somebody becomes a bigger problem, he normally just puts an arrow into him.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay. Okay,
All
so I
right.
have adjusted slightly what I had because I forgot some minor details. Sorry about that. Though I think he will ultimately be very pleased.
Mm-hmm.
So, Okay. All right. So, um, okay. So he's going to reach out and offer to shake the hand of the man who granted his people salvation. At this point in time, Incon, you have arrived back from your errand, by the way.
I am wearing gloves, so I would gingerly shake his hand.
It seems as if his grip is much stronger than it was a second ago,
Oh boy.
Oh no.
and he suddenly shines in a beautiful golden light. Ah, pure souls, thank you for a miserable wretch such as I. The golden light begins to pulse, and within his art, onto his arms, his hand in his face, the disgusting, wretched figure that was hunched before you now rises, and it stands to see an eerily beautiful man with a kind face and watchful eyes. Where his skin was sagging and full of lesions before, now it has strong, healthy muscle. His skin seems to emanate a faint golden light. He takes the cheek of Jareth and says in a hollowing tone, "Thank you, my kind child. I am Ogildir. I am the god of generosity, humility, and faith, the god patron of those who need me. You have demonstrated some of the most powerful of human values, even if you are not yourself human. Faith in those other than oneself, to do right by the grace you show them. You have shown generosity in your gift to those less fortunate than you. You have shown humility instead of pride, and helped the downtrodden, even when opposed to risk to you. I look into all of your hearts, and I can see your most desperate desires. You have shown faith in others, and now I shall show faith unto you." His golden voice rises once again, and time seems to stand still. As he speaks, it seems as if golden harps are punctuating every word, as if singing an accompanying tune. Now, each person is going to be brought into your private channel where they will have something read to them.
Nice.
All right, give me a second. All right, 1 second. Gotta find where I put it. All right. Jareth, the man who would be king. You have shown humility instead of pride. You have shown wisdom instead of folly. Practicality instead of blind optimism. The best way to help others is to help them help themselves. What is your boon that you would ask of me?
Hmm. Honestly, all I want is a home and a place where people can be safe and happy, protected. I don't care if they're undead, monstrous, as long as they can get along with everyone. I'm fine with everyone being willing to come here, but like I said, the place is still a work in progress. It needs to be a constant work. So instead of a boon for myself, how about something that would benefit everyone that stays here?
Very well. I gift to you a shard of the tree of Everest. He pulls out a teeny tiny seed, golden and glowing in green. There are roots around it. Plant this at the center of your domain, and all those who come to you shall seek your protection and be themselves saved.
I will do.
All right, 1 second, I'll put you back. Hello. You there?
Yep. Hello.
Incon, warrior, barbarian.
Yes.
You have shown great power in combat before, and prowess in dispatching your enemies through both brute strength and force of will. Yet I see deep within you a desire for peace over conflict, a place to call a true home, a place of paradise. You do not believe it exists, and do not even actively search for it. Instead, a greater master binds your heart for now. He places a strong hand upon your shoulder and looks into your eyes with a sad but proud look upon his face. Fear not, great warrior. You are stronger than you know. Not in your arms or your powerful form, but deep in your own heart. You are capable of greater feats than even I. Your true heart will guide you towards what is right, and for this you will need more than you have yet so far. He waves his hand, and your sturdy boots begin to glow softly, now with blue runic lines inlaid into the sides and the top. These will make your feet lighter. Use them well, and glide upon mountains as if on sand. And when you are ready, you will find the place your heart desires. It does exist. It is hard to find, as if protected by a being whose true power rivals that of my own. Find it, and he whispers, find your kin.
Find my.
Kin.
Okay, got it. All right.
All right.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Arrakis, you are one of complication. You have discovered a hint of magic, and so to have doomed yourself to the path you could no longer avoid. This path will have loss and torment, but it will have hope for the future, if not for yourself. I gift you the knowledge you acquire to survive, come the final day. At the place of beckoning, when the first seal does release, whisper unto it my name, and it shall come free.
What was your name again, so I can
Ogildeer.
write it down? Oh God, that sounds like a pain in the ass to spell.
One second, I'm gonna
Huckleberry?
DM this to you.
Well, thank you for the advice. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna put you back. Alright, there we go. Let's see. Ozymandias, pride of your people, yet against the purpose of those that sired you. You have learned to have others serve, and in turn will learn to serve others as faithfully as you have served yourself. Your arrival here is no accident, no happenstance, but fate and faith entwined as threads as sharp as knives. You will know peace within yourself, and you will find the secrets your heart yet so desires. Look into your mind and memory, and in time, when you pray, it will be revealed to you.
At a time when you pray, it will be revealed.
Yep.
Okay.
You get the image of a sun and a moon, and then black visions swallows your mind as if an eternal night.
Alrighty then.
Okay, one second.
For positive ground.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
So yeah, lightning can actually travel hundreds of miles.
Time seems to have shifted to normal, and it's later in the day than you realized. It's currently dark, and rain has seems to be falling from the sky. The first time you have seen it in this somewhat dry and arid land. The man has disappeared in a pile of golden light, only to leave a single beautiful white gold flower in his wake. Take care of my people.
Jareth just gives a little one-handed wave. All right, I've got something to take care of. I'll be back in 20 minutes. And then he just walks off towards the center of the area.
Maracas is gonna pick up this flower, or at least take a look at it.
It's firmly planted into the ground, right between the gates.
Oh, that might be a problem.
Would you like to roll a nature check?
Yeah, why not?
Do you have
Oh, that is
proficiency with nature?
I do not. No,
Okay.
I did roll a 19 though.
Okay. By some miracle, you realize through some old archaic legend that this flower is going to grow into a marvelous tree one day. A gate tree.
A gate tree. What do I know about gate trees?
It's something that fiddles and appears into your mind. Protect the seed and protect the gate. For your domain has only just begun.
Would Maracas know if this is something that has to stay at the gate, or is this something that
It's like
say
it's basically like if the gates are closed, it's inside just a little bit. So the gates opening and closing, it wouldn't damage the flower.
oh,
And it
okay.
seems remarkably resilient, by the way. You poke and prod it, but it's not going nowhere.
Okay, I was thinking, I mean, if it's possible to move it, Maracas would just like to go grab a shovel and just dig around it and pick up the clump of dirt and put it in a pot or something and bring that away. Because like even if it's not going to hit the gate, there's still going to be lots of traffic coming through the gate. So wouldn't want it getting crushed by like a cartwheel or something like that.
Okay, roll me a nature check.
Oh no.
Oh no. Fear.
Oh, that's an 18.
You succeed.
All right. I guess Maracas at some point, maybe not necessarily right now, but he'll put this gate tree in this pot, this little like sapling that's come out. And he'll actually take it up to the Arcanist Tower. And I don't know, I just imagine it had like a big ass window overlooking the rest of the keep. And
Mm-hmm.
like to
Yeah, it
put it
does.
there at some point so it'd get a
It
nice
has a
it'd
glass
give a good
roof.
a bit of sunlight. Oh, perfect. All right. He will put it somewhere in the Arcanist Tower where it'll get lots of sun.
There seems to be an unusually perfect spot in the center of a circle. Roll me a history check real quick.
Sure.
Anyone else can do so if they're following him.
Yeah, I'm currently planting the seed I got.
I'm currently looking a little bit confused. Well, not confused, just like uncertain. But I'm directing people to start setting up tents. So I'm not following.
That was a 12 for me.
You're pretty sure that circle wasn't there before. Yeah, there's a pack of perfect sunlight in the center.
Hmm. Maracas is still naive in the ways of magic, and doesn't necessarily know if this is a good or a bad thing. So he's just gonna go for it and still put this plant down in the circle, this perfectly newly formed circle.
It fits like a glove.
Awesome. He gives it some water, sings it a nice song, and he will leave to try and meet up with the rest of the people.
About this time, Jareth would be returning back to the gate, just wiping dirt and mud off of himself. Well, that's done.
Gareth, what were you doing? You're so dirty.
I was planting my gift.
You planted it?
Yes, I did.
Roll me an Arcana.
That's 17.
All right. A beautiful burst of golden light and a beam of white light burst into the air, and it seems as if it created a kind of, I don't know, bubble. Do you know what a mythal is?
No.
Does anyone proficient in Arcana?
I believe I am. Yeah, I am.
All right, you may roll to figure out what just happened. Roll an Arcana with advantage. Because it wouldn't be too hard to put 2 and 2 together.
19.
All right. A mythal of some kind has just been activated over this entire area.
All right. At a meta level, I don't know what a mythal is.
Okay, gotcha. A mythal is, well, let's just put it this way. Let me just read you the description of it.
I was like, cool. Ozzy does. I do not.
Force fields at full power, Captain.
Certainly what it seems
Mythals are
like.
powerful magical effects created by a group of spellcasters to protect and ward large areas with numerous powerful enchantments. It's basically 10th level magic, at least.
So we basically just activated a very powerful force field.
We just created a
Ozymandias
Wakanda shield around.
he kind of like looks around it. Is it visible or do we just know it's been activated?
In your inside, you can see a golden shimmer. It's strange because it seems to be reflective of the mental state of whoever planted it. So if they are strong and confident and noble in their cause, then the as long as your domains increase, so shall the mythal. Would you like to know what this mythal does?
Yes.
To those who are kind and loyal, I grant unto you my protection and benefits for all eternity. So basically, anyone who is loyal to the ruler and their true cause, aka protecting the downtrodden, receive a +4 to AC within this mythal, as well as immunity
yeah.
to charm and what's the other? The opposite of charm. Let me look at
Fear, frightened.
yes,
Fear?
yeah, charm and fear.
So I mean the charm, fear. Right.
Nice. And +4 AC to anybody that's loyal to Jareth.
Does that include party members?
Yes,
Shit.
All
you have to be
right.
within the circle, but yeah.
Okay, it's only within the circle. Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
we're just
it's
gonna
a-
give a
it's a
barbarian a
defensive
+4 AC,
thing.
huh?
It's a defensive thing from what I'm
Suddenly
figuring
everything
out.
rolls 30s.
Yeah, no shit. You'll have to. I mean,
I mean, we're protected if there's ever a siege.
God, no kidding.
Wait, so does that
Oh,
affect my Jareth as well, or is it just people that are loyal to Jareth?
Anyone who is loyal to you and your cause.
are you loyal to
Okay.
you and your cause?
I mean, it's me and my cause, so apparently. I mean, you got to be loyal to yourself, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very true. You'd hope so, anyway.
Yeah. And that's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Is it okay if we reveal what we asked for boon-wise?
Absolutely.
So Jareth didn't ask for anything for himself. He just asked for something to help protect his kingdom. He's like, man, I don't really want anything for myself. I just want people to be safe and happy here. I don't care if they're monsters. I don't care if they're undead. Just as long as they get along and can be happy and healthy here, I'm fine. And he was handed a seed. So he planted it.
Such a good ruler.
Hey.
Maracas didn't necessarily get a boon per se. He was given some information
Yeah,
that can
same
be
for me.
used at an unspecified date.
Cool. I mean, information is a boon as well. So
Well, yeah, true enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I just the information.
So if you guys are paying attention to Akon, you'll see that he's wearing new. He's got new shoes.
hey,
Yeah. Uh, he's
nice
got
new boots you got there.
nice swanky shoes and um, seems to he seems like he could be lighter on his feet with these shoes. Effectively, I don't know if you guys will know this without examining it, but they are going to be boots of speed.
Ooh, nice.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
awesome.
That's useful for you.
That's just like a moose speed buff, right? Or is it also give other shit?
It's a move speed buff, and then also for opportunity attacks is disadvantage on me.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, nice. So if
That's
anybody
amazing.
if anybody ever actually paid attention since day one, they'd notice that anytime Jareth walked in a place that there was the ability to leave tracks, it wasn't like boot prints, but it'd be like orc footprints or any kind of other humanoid than Jareth's. But nobody really looks at your feet unless they're tracking you, so he doesn't mention it. It's not really big information.
Yes. All right. So now we have. So Adcon is getting the tent set up for the remainder of the people. Jareth went and planted this seed. Maracas went to plant the tree. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. He went up to the Arcanist Tower and put it in this spot that magically appeared.
So the one thing now that we've been kind of briefly talking about as Theo was pulling each of us individually is, does this mean that we should be making our chapel out to this god, or do we want to do something else with it?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that.
I mean, considering the kind of like benefit and the protection that we're getting, it almost seems petty if we don't.
Yeah, kinda. I'm actually absolutely okay with that. What do
Yeah,
you
we're
guys
getting a
think?
pretty big
Yeah,
boon.
I think that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we'll go for that for the first because we can
we,
always have more too,
oh
right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. We'll even name it the Chapel of Gratitude.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. All right.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty.
So are we all just we've all kind of met back up, we're just standing around. It's like, oh, uh Ozzy, we kind of got mixed up with some other stuff, but you just kind of appeared in our library unexpectedly. So would you mind going into a little more depth on that? As to what?
I consider myself something of a scientist, a magical theorist. Yeah, one of my experiments seems to have gone south.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, here I am.
Well, where did you come from? Maybe we could help you find your way back. That's something you wanted.
Questions I didn't think of. Where am I from? Fuck.
Obviously you must have hit your head on a bookcase when we came in. You'll
I didn't think of it.
remember
I
eventually.
didn't think of a name. Yeah.
Eh,
I have updated the picture of Croft Keep to include the temporary housing.
sweet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, now that it's
By the way,
there's
that
no.
missile applies to tax to hit. So also, by the way,
Oh,
sorry.
sweet.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
It's a
Wait.
+4 to hit.
Holy shit.
That's
That's
insane.
insane.
Yeah, that's really strong.
All right. Where's my great weapon master?
Yeah, right?
We just have to
Well,
tell all the undead dudes to come and like assault our keep.
Yeah,
And we're
just come on
good.
in,
We're
guys. Come
perfect.
on in.
So,
Yeah, I guess we can challenge that list now.
yeah, we weren't
If
actually
need.
wanting to challenge him. We were wanting a non-aggression pact.
Yeah, we actually wanted to work out a deal with them.
Well, I know that, but if shit goes south, I'm not as terrified.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, basically, oh God, I hate making an anime reference, but Tensei Slime, you know? That time I got turned into a slime, basically.
Okay, I was like, I don't know Japanese names.
Yeah, but basically, it's the monster tent. Jareth doesn't care. As long as you're cool, he's cool with you. So he's fine with monsters. He's fine with orcs, and even where creatures are welcome as long as they behave.
Hmm. Yeah, also, the only reason we wanted to put everyone in tents was because we thought the one dude was super sick. We didn't want that to spread around. But,
We
like,
actually are expanding anyway, so it's not that bad of a
Well,
thing.
that's it. I thought it was also
Yeah.
definitely we don't have what's it called?
Yeah,
we don't have
don't
housing.
have room. We don't have housing, and we don't have room. So this is kind of what we have for them. So
Yeah, I didn't think it was like a sick
Okay.
thing. I thought that was just it's like, oh, that works out.
no, yeah, we really don't have the room for the people inside of the walls. So this is kind of what the option we had at the moment, because they've been lumbering inside and out. So it's like, we'll put you up in some tents in the recent clearing. You can hang out. This guy is sick though, so he'll have to be a little farther away from the group.
So there are 16. Let's just say there are 16 peasants, one of whom has a skill.
Ooh.
What is that skill?
You don't know yet.
Let's go talk to him. And then we'll see if we can find a steward
No
amongst the slaves.
way.
Hey, you, skilled worker, what is your skill?
Well, everyone thinks they're skilled, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Jareth just kind of looks at Maracas and they're like, all right, who had a good job before coming here?
Yeah, everybody tell us your skills and we'll pick the most important one.
All right. I'll give up and just tell you. One of them was a notable member of the clergy.
I have
Oh,
no idea what that is.
who would have thunk it?
Clergy,
Oh,
priesthood.
oh no, I didn't. He kind of broke out, so it kind of garbled.
One of them is a trained priest.
Trained cleric.
Pretty much, yep.
That is absolutely wonderful, considering we are building a chapel.
Welcome to your new house, right?
Yep, pretty
Here's
much.
the
Like,
chapel. Go at it.
yeah. Hey, yeah, we're working on a chapel, and yeah, you can be the head clergy of the Chapel of Gratitude, my friend.
Who would like to roll for their level?
I have been rolling kind of shit here lately.
I rolled.
Is
I
it
made
just a
2
flat
rolls today,
D20?
and it's a 1 and a 2.
This is probably
Well,
going to be
I
one of the
haven't been
most
rolling
important
that bad.
rolls you guys do. So make a good decision.
Again, is it just a flat D20?
It is a flat d20.
Oh, okay. So
I'm okay doing it, but my luck is all over the place right now. I've rolled
You
fairly
must use the
high
public
and fairly
rolls in a
low.
bot. You must use the public rolls in a bot. So
I can do
I
it.
rolled a 1 and a 2 today. I only made 2 rolls so far. I'm not
you
sure.
could try. You could try the pain method. Works
Yeah,
for
I
some,
don't
you
know if I
know.
want that. I don't know if I want that spreading, and it doesn't work for me. I've tried it.
Wait,
Looks
what is
like
that?
Maracas might be going for it.
Okay, so a couple years ago when I started DMing, I had this player that had horrible, horrible luck. And he ended up stubbing his toe and rolling a nat 20. So I said, I wonder if we can repeat this process. And then during a critical battle, he smacked himself in the face and rolled another nat 20.
Oh my god.
It seemed consistently his bad luck was negated by him hurting himself.
wow.
And it
That
has
is
been
insane.
verified last night because another player in Theo's game decided, because I brought it up like as a joke, like, hey, I've seen this happen before. It worked.
consistently. He was rolling like literally some of the lowest scores I've ever seen for his character, and I was like, dude, that's literally unplayable. Don't use that. Don't use that. Don't use that. It's unplayable. And then like he does that, and he rolls like 6 good rolls in a row.
It's
Yeah, I was
consistent.
watching. I think I have to like see the rolls. There were
Yeah,
some rough ones.
He
it,
rolled
it
a 28 for his stats.
Sorry,
Oh.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah
28 total is not playable.
yeah no, it's absolutely
I'm
not
sorry, did you
playable.
say 28 in total across 6 stats?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're just rolling flat d20. They were just rolling flat d20s.
yeah. Go ahead and look into the public roles channel.
Yeah, I see that now.
Sometimes you just don't be rolling good. Sometimes you just don't be
wow.
rolling good at all.
Yeah.
Then he's like, I
let's-
smacked myself. I'm using the pain theory rolls. All right. So
Yep.
who wants to roll me the d20?
I already got it queued up, so I can do it.
Go right ahead.
All right.
Send it.
Make it good. Oh.
9th level
9.
cleric.
That's not bad.
No, that's pretty solid.
Could definitely be worse.
No, it's 1 level short of DI though.
Yeah.
I already rolled a hidden modifier, so you guys kind of got lucky. So. Now it's my task to create a 11th level cleric.
Woohoo.
Because I rolled a d2, 1 for adding, 2 for minus. I rolled a 1 for adding, and then I rolled a 2 and a d4. So
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
I just got a
what's
little bit more variance, but yeah, solid. It
what's
was a solid roll, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big difference between 9th and 11th. Like I said, DI is a thing, so
Yup.
Not quite that OP.
no, low level DI isn't.
Besides, it's basically me asking me for help.
Pretty much. You kind
Hey.
of just decide if you want it to work.
No, the big thing is, hey, can you cast Resurrection yet?
If you pay for the materials.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he definitely has Revivify, or he can learn Revivify.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, we've got things we need to do then. All right, let's go talk to the slaves now, I guess. Set the older people up with light work, cooking, sewing if something needs repaired. Basically, just general light stuff.
Oh, you want to know what his title is?
Yes.
The Emissary of Ogladir.
The emissary of Ogladir. I kind of like that. Sounds kind of culty though.
So, what are you guys gonna do?
See if we can find a steward among the slaves.
Ogladir. Ogladir? What a fucking nightmare.
Is it Aldir or Ogladir?
Ogladir.
Ogladir. Okay. Oh, it's already. Oh, goddamn. All right, there we go. Does he have like an actual name?
No.
Just for my notes here.
He's
Nope.
a default. I'm a priest. I took the cloth up and now I have no name except this.
All right.
God, I want to change my name to the Emissary of Ogledeer.
See you later, emissary.
Actually, it doesn't make sense for him not to have a name. He would take a different name, but so I can roll him a name actually. I
I will call you Jim. That's not sticking. I'm just being
And
goofy
thus
right
I
now.
christen you.
Oh my fucking god! I rolled him a hobbit, and his name is Rufus Sandyman.
Rufus.
All right, that's great.
Okay, I like Rufus.
Rufus
God
Sandy.
damn it! Well, this means that when he rolls, he can get
Luck.
yeah.
For natural ones. Haha. Which I keep
Oh,
forgetting
man.
to use on my halfling. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Luck is what. Oh man, and you know what's broken as hell? Halflings can take the lucky feat.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That is ridiculous.
That is correct. Doo-doo.
Okay. Got that written down. Awesome.
Well, overall, I would kind of like to know if I'm spending some time, kind of, if I've been spending some time, like in this month, trying to train our defenses, so to speak, how successful I am at that.
What's your highs to hit?
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Like
Like,
your attack modifier.
oh, I'm a +8.
Okay. Are you proficient in any intelligence skills?
Uh, I'm proficient in history. Yeah,
Okay.
of the
You can use
intelligence,
this
it's
to work
history.
examples and things like that to try and train the soldiers.
Okay. Yeah, sure. What would you like me to do right now? Is it just to roll the history check, or what's up?
Yeah, you could do that. Roll a history check.
All right. Hopefully, it's not a 3. Yes. 20 overall.
That's pretty good. Okay. So you managed to make some very significant progress training the soldiers over the course of the couple months while everything's being constructed.
Sounds good. Sounds
All
good.
right.
That's what AdCon is predominantly focused on.
Yep. Downtime wise, Jareth would pretty much be getting the spider silk attached to his leather armor, and if he had any time, maybe training some people as hunters with the longbow.
Hmm?
That would be his downtime. Because we got to get that fresh meat in.
Okay.
Maracus. I think Maracus is going to spend most of his time kind of, I think, in between the Arcanist Tower and talking with Rufus Sandyman, because he still has a underlying goal of figuring out more about godhood and what it might take to get there. So, could I maybe roll like I don't know, like an investigation check or something, or history, and see if he finds anything out about that?
Oh my god, I just realized. I already rolled insane stats for this motherfucker. Holy shit. Okay, hold on, sorry. Yes, you can talk to him about that and try to divine some secrets. Um and actually it'll give me a chance to exposition just slightly and tell you a bit more about the world that you guys found yourselves in.
Oh, for sure. Also, just as a side note, also throughout this whole time, he's also taking care of this tree and the sapling, making sure it's watered, fertilized every once in a while. Listen to some smooth jazz because apparently that's good for plants. But yeah, I'll go for that investigation check here. Come on. Oh, so close to a nat 20, but 18 overall.
You roll. I'm sorry. You rolled what?
I rolled a 18.
Okay. Rolled an 18. That's pretty good, actually. Okay. So he's given up a little bit of secrets. Not that much. Sorry, I'm currently.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, no need to apologize.
There we go.
You absolutely understand how hard DMing can be. All the
Well, I was
background
also
shit.
creating the fucking the character's information. So there we
Yeah,
go.
that's what I'm talking about. Doing the background shit.
There we go. Oh, so I have to choose the spells too. That's gonna be fun. Okay, I'll do that later.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's you can't do that like right this second. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that
Not
takes
for
way
not for
too
a
long
level
to
Not for an
11
clear.
11th
character.
level.
No,
No.
No,
not
yeah.
happening. Besides, apparently he's got because I had him. You find out that he knows a bit about regular magic, not just clerical magic. Because you find that inside his tent it's larger inside than it was normally. Because he casted a tiny hut.
Ooh,
Oh, cool.
Oh, the Arcana domain.
Yes, he has wizard spells as well.
nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it has unseen servants cleaning up and tidying.
So, question. Since if he does have access to arcane magic, is that something Maracas could try to learn new spells from him? Like, is that an option?
Depends. Is he going to live in a tent forever? Or would you, I don't know, have him as a court mage or court scholar or anything like that? Because he might be interested in a court appointee.
Well, that's something the other leaders and I would have a talk about here.
Yep.
But I mean, like, I'm fine with that.
I actually don't have a problem with it myself. I mean, he's already basically the court cleric, so
Yeah,
having him hold two titles is fine by me.
he's also the emissary of a good god and a halfling, which are, I think, inherently good.
Yep.
So
Which just means that we're gonna have to give him some of his pay in beer.
we can do that. That shouldn't be a problem.
Like, well, a drunk Mary, as people say. Not to mention he is way, way higher level than you now, so you probably don't want to piss the guy off too much.
Yeah, that too.
And 11th level cleric is nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would that position be? Like the top holy man?
You could,
Not
well, you
bishop.
don't want to have him as
I was
three
gonna say the
positions. You could
Pope,
choose.
but like
You could have him be like court physician, like the appointed court scholar, which would be more of like something that is like you already have an NPC that does that, though they're not exactly fantastic at it. They just have a knack for it. You could have them do like different things depending on what exactly you want them to, what functions you want them to perform. There are several positions that you might be able to have them at.
Oh, okay. Is there a document pertaining to all this by
There
chance?
was. I have no idea where the fuck it is.
I do
Oh,
kind of like the idea of the court physician, though.
yeah. I think yeah, because we have the other guy that is like the court
The scholar.
court wizard. Yeah, scholar, there we go. And like even if he's not great at it, at least we still have that position filled. We might as well fill in the other positions as we get a chance, and then once those are all filled up, we can work on like making stuff better. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Trying to re-find where the spider silk stuff was since I'm finally having it attached to my armor.
Yeah, I think court physician would be a good idea. I would vote for that. The rest of you, what say you?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, it's fine. Fine by me.
All right, let it be so.
Okay. So, are you going to have him inside the Arcanist study, or are you going to have him inside like a temple?
Probably inside the chapel. That
Yeah,
makes
I'm personally thinking chapel, and then when he's studying, when he has free access to the other places, but staying probably makes more sense to be chapel.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I'll have him do is he'll start at 3rd level and he'll level up with you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because of how much like maintenance I'm looking at right here. He'll start at 3rd level and he will have he'll level up with you guys, and his capacities will increase as you guys explore and he becomes more in touch with his god.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like to me too.
Yeah, because I mean, if he was way more powerful than us, I'd be afraid he's going to like take over.
Yeah, seriously.
I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to give Theo any ideas, so I didn't say anything.
All right.
I
So-
wouldn't do something as devious as that.
So while we're going through all this, do I actually get the spider silk armor attached to my leather armor?
You don't know anyone that's capable of working with it.
Well, damn. I'll have to find somebody then.
Oh, did you ever say if that investigation check got me anything?
You got a hint that most of the deities currently in existence arose from
Hey, I'll be-
mortality. But you
I'll
also
be
got
right
a
back.
hint
I'm
that
running
it's
to the bathroom.
probably that you're probably not very smart to keep poking your nose into it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. That's not going to stop me, but good to know.
Of course, it won't stop you. When did they ever stop a player?
Right. This is not a good idea. Don't care. Doing it anyway.
That's the great thing about this game. It's all based on die rolls.
You'll.
Regardless how bad of an idea it is, it could still work.
All right. Well,
In
do
theory.
I?
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Well, then, do I at least get a couple people trained to actually hunt with bows?
Okay. Yeah. I thought I misheard because I was doing some stuff. I thought you were trying to go get like food. No, you're training
No.
people. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So you
training
guys
people to
spend
do.
2 months. Are you expert with a bow or?
I am actually.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys can spend 2 months and train.
Yep. I'm specifically the longbow because of the archetype I
What did
took.
you get for your role for training?
What do I have to
Hey,
roll
Con.
specifically?
I got a. Ooh, hold on. Let me double check exactly what I think I got. Like a 8. It was a 20. Yeah,
Okay.
20 overall.
Gotcha.
That was the history check.
So what do I have to roll specifically for mine?
You managed to train 16 people to be equivalent of level 1 warriors.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
That ain't bad.
Jareth,
Yep.
roll me a dexterity check.
That's an 8. Oh my! Oh no, that was a
You
save.
managed to teach 4 people who seem like they already kind of know some stuff. You kind of just fill in some blanks for them.
Yeah,
And train
that
them
was
to be hunters.
horrible.
So not really warriors, but they're enough that they can feed some people without worrying too much about it.
That's all I was hoping for. I mean, just get them to where they can hunt for us for a bit, and we're good. And what is Ozzy doing for 2 months?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Sorry. Before
Pro-
you answer that, I'm hoping you would answer something here that would make Adcon not have to like
He's
stare at you
probably
every
spending
single
like
time.
days and days like combing through the library, just reading everything they have, anything that might be new to him. Like just trying to absorb as much information as he can about where he is. You said there's an Arcanist tower too?
Yeah, we have an Arcanist Tower.
Yeah, then yeah, he's probably spending a lot of time there as well. Like messing with his magic, like weaving it into trying to like create new formulas, new theories that he can work into his what's it called? Like into his experiments.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Um, if he is doing that, sorry, I hate to be doing this, but if he is doing that, Adcon is training people, so he can't actively be always there looking at them. But if we have set up Rufus as being kind of the, chapel, as well as our, he stands to reason to spend a lot of time in the Arcanist Tower as well. Adcon is going to go ask Rufus if he would keep an eye on Ozzy and report to him if it seems like Ozzy is looking up things that could possibly damage the town.
I'm gonna
Like
tell you right now, probably not his intention, but it is just something that could fuck things up if things go
Rufus rolled a
bad.
nat 1 for subtlety. Hey, you looking to blow shit up?
Ozzy
shit.
kind of gives him a side glance, like not the plan, but it is sometimes the byproduct.
Oh, I see, I see. I heal things. And sometimes blow them up. But mostly heal.
Well, two sides to every coin.
Yes, I do love coins. We love coins. Though, as a priest, I shouldn't. But I do love coins.
Not every holy man can be entirely holy.
Well, yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to drink wine. I'd spill it everywhere.
Just one day during one of these conversations, Jareth walks by and like, even solars cost gold. It ain't that big of a deal. Just walks off.
If Ozzy's spending most of his time in the Arcanist Tower, there's no way Maracas isn't annoying him, asking him to like fucking teach him some new stuff and try to bum some spells off of him. Because he's just beginning now and he wants to increase what he can do.
The court priest, Rufus, will offer to train you in some magics he knows.
Oh, okay. Yes, Rufus, that would be amazing. Thank you.
What spells are it that you are most interested in?
That I'll need to get back on you. I still need to figure that out, Rufus, but just give me a minute and I can get back to you on that.
I prefer create wine.
That's a thing.
Create food and drink.
I think it's create food and water, I
Yeah.
think specifically, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, you
Rufus.
can always reflavor it.
He can only create one thing, and that's wine.
Figures.
So is he always rosy cheeked?
I mean, he's a halfling. How can
I
you
am not
tell?
always sober. I mean, drunk.
Nah, we got you.
Yep, I think the always sober part is yeah.
More accurate, yeah.
So when are we building my temple?
It should be in construction right now.
Should be almost done. It's been one of the earliest ones we decided to do.
Yep.
All right. So what size and tier are we talking about? Are we creating like a little chapel? We're creating a full-on temple? What are we doing?
I think we were starting off
chapel
with the
for now.
chapel
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
because of room
how much of a pain
issues.
in the ass Rufus is gonna be.
Yeah. So just as a reminder for everybody, this is what I have written down for what we have decided to do. We have our our hold, which has a dining hall, and then we're also making sure there's rooms for 50 hirelings. We have our bank that we have upgraded to adamantine.
Yep.
We have our war room. We have our inn, or the inn, and we have the Arcanist study. And we decided on a chapel, and a mill, which leaves us 1 more point to spend inside the keep. And then we have
Okay.
the palisade, which we have decided to put the market and the smithy.
Sounds about right.
That is what I have down.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So we do have 1 more point to use if we figure out what we want it for later. But at our current cost, before we have any income, it is basically going to cost us 125 gold a day that we're digging into our vault to do this. Though we get a certain amount from the inn, um, and we get some money from the from
We
our
get some
bank.
from the yeah, we get some from the mill, and we also get some from the chapel as well. Though it's not a whole lot.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think either of those are considered complete yet to the point where we be generating those. So I
Mhm.
think right now we're just throwing money in.
If I remember correctly from last time we played, pretty much all we found a way to break even, but it was mostly based off of the returns from the bank, like the interest.
Yeah, interest
Yep.
is the majority of it, because hold on, what was it? We had, oh man, how many percent do we get from it? I can't even remember. Um,
5%.
was it 5%?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right here. Da, 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 da. This room generates an income equal to 5% of the total currency stored there every 60 days.
Every 60 days. Okay, that's
Yep.
why it was my math was off. I was like, I think it is 5%, but my math is really off right now. But it's every 60 days. Yeah, so that gets us it gets us 120 gold a day right now based on what we have in the vault. So we're putting in 5 every, like, we're still missing 5 gold. That's it. Just
So we're
missing 5.
constantly short 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that 120 gold with everything, or is that just the interest?
Just the interest from the gold vault.
Oh, okay. So once all these other things are built, we'll be
Yeah,
able
once
to.
everything's built, we'll be fine. But before it's fully running, we are putting in
We're
5
in the
gold.
red.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And we're only that low because we already paid off most of our people for like a year.
Yep.
At least.
Right.
Which actually helped out in the long run because we paid off the soldiers and a lot of the just general peasantry.
Yeah. But as we go forward, if Adcon doesn't get anything back from Rufus, or he doesn't see Ozzy doing anything that's really gonna make him go side eye, he'll stop being so overly cautious. Though he's probably still not 100% trusting Ozzy. But at some point in time, as we go further on, if everything is going well and the smithy is working, Adcon will bring up to the rest of the group that he wants a chance to. He's been training with them in the courtyard. He's been training people in the courtyard. He wants a chance to take them out somewhere where there's going to be more a sense of danger, because there's no replacement for actual danger to doing things and
Field
learning.
training.
Yeah. You can only whack at each other with dummy swords for so long before you start getting complacent.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there is actually a thought I had about that. We have a very large woods to the southeast of us that we know almost nothing about and has been considered dangerous, which is one of the reasons why the trade route didn't come through it. We could send them on a monster clearing mission. Maybe they find some goblins or something to kill.
To hit the King's Road?
Yeah.
Okay. Atcon's all for it.
I mean, Ozymandias has no reason to say yes or no. He's honestly kind of like he's not gonna be super helpful when it comes to like the day of like the kingdom. He's very involved with his studying magic. Like he's very involved with it.
Yo.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
understandable.
So, you could, for example, hire scouts and do things like that to try to figure out from locals and things like that, try to figure out the threat level and whether or not that would be a good idea. Because otherwise, let's say you accidentally throw them into a situation they can't handle, suddenly you lose all your training.
Straight up and just walk into like
Yeah, that's
am-
true.
It's true.
I well, no, that would take several more months to get anybody ready for even a occupied scout mission, or like a chaperone scout mission.
I mean, maybe we could do it.
We could do it.
Like
Find
we could leave Rufus in charge. So I mean, he's kind of our he's probably the best person there to take care of everything, and then we could go in see. I mean, it'd be a good idea to scout just what's around our place because we really haven't looked at all what's surrounding us very closely.
Yeah, I'm down for that actually. A good scouting mission, and if we find anything that we would consider um, a decent occupation for our soldiers, we can send them in. If not, we'll clear it ourselves, kind of thing.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
I'm perfectly down for that.
I mean, Atcon does want to swing his axe.
I have updated the picture of Croft Keep.
Woohoo!
All right, I like the temple.
Sweet.
All right. So you guys
Nice.
can proceed into the forest to try to find and navigate and whatnot. You could do it carefully. You could do it rushed. Whatever you want to do. It may affect what you do or do not encounter. But remember, that is a very, very, very large section of forest. It's unlikely you'd be able to pass by the entire place.
No, we don't necessarily want to pacify it. We just kind of want a better idea of what's in there, so we're not just sending our people in to be destroyed by I don't know
Yeah.
who the hell knows what.
So, I mean, our plan is to head towards Free Harbor anyway. So I say we follow close to, like, within sight of the King's Road area, heading that way, but we basically off road it the whole way.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's thick jungle, so you would travel at about a third of your speed.
That's
Totally
actually,
fair.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That was part of the plan because, I mean, we're intending to send our guards that we've been training for this through there anyway, so we want to at least know some idea of what's there before we do.
All right.
I think I would be Atcon would be like he would definitely not be walking through stealthy. He's more of a let's see what we can kind of attract. Let's see what we got around. Like he's not going to be trying to sneak around.
Yep. I'm okay with that. And I would also be using an ability I haven't used yet. Detect portal. Make sure there's no other planar portals around us.
Oh, you're a planewalker?
I'm a planeswalker.
Oh shit, I didn't know
I
that.
I just haven't gotten to the point where I can use the good abilities yet. Level 4.
That's what my first character
You
was
had a
actually.
tinkling sensation when you looked at the special plant that was potted, by the way.
Eh? Yeah, I figured it was, but I mean, I haven't used it yet. This is for our walk.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he kind of suspected what it was just from what he's heard from Maracas. So he's like, that one can be kind of ignored for now until it becomes a problem.
A problem. Oh shit. Oh boy.
This is how Jareth's mind works. Is it a problem now? No. Okay, we'll deal with it when it's a problem.
Oh, gotcha.
Kind of
Okay.
comes from growing up in the slums of the
After
city.
about a couple hours of traveling along the road, you guys hear some sniffling and whatnot in the underbrush about 30 yards of you. Everyone roll me a stealth check to see if you're spotted.
I almost want to give myself disadvantage.
Yeah.
Un-
18.
Unnatural 20.
21.
16.
To the average is 18. Okay. Ooh, you are not spotted. Throughout the underbrush, you see a head poke out. And it looks something like this.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Jareth's eyes widen and he licks his lip like, neat.
Hmm.
Another head pops out. Looks like there might be two of them, or even more.
That makes sense.
What do you think, Jareth? Should we try to take care of them, or should we move on?
I would like to take care of them, but considering that there's at least 3, there could be more. Um,
You know there's at least two.
yeah, there's at least 2, so there's possible there's more. I say we get some elevation, see what we can see, and basically observe before taking action.
There's a tree you can climb up.
I'm the only one that doesn't have to climb a tree, but it takes a spell slot to do so.
Akon is happy to climb and to see.
Yep, I will climb the tree.
Roll a stealth.
15.
10. I'm changing my dice, hoping I get a better rolls on some, because it's just my modifiers that are carrying me right now.
You are not spotted. There's 2 of them.
Alright, so I will take some complicated hand gestures and try and explain to the other 2 that there's 2 and we can get the drop on them.
Would you like to roll me a perception check?
Yep, 1 second.
So am I correct in understanding that all of us are here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like we all can. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
it's
it's
probably. Well, it's probably a bad question to ask after we've all rolled stealth rolls, but you
That's a nat 1!
I have a 15 though.
Are you up in the tree with him?
Yeah, I went up.
What did you roll for stealth?
Stealth 16.
Okay. What did you get for perception?
15.
You see a saddle on one of them.
what?
I'm going to motion like 2, but like hold. Like I see Jared's motions, but I'm going to like motion to hold because that concerns me.
So Jareth sees your motions to hold and he makes the I can talk to animals, do you want me to?
And then, but I'm going to like do my hand like this, where like I have my hand like sideways, so
Sleight of hand.
fingers are all outstretched, and then I'm going to have like my right hand over the top of my left hand, like leg straddling a mount. I'm not sure if people understand what I'm just doing. But
Roll a
that's what
sleight
I'm
of hand to see if they do.
doing. Okay.
Yep, I got an 11 to see if he understands my hand signals.
I got a 20.
You
Sleight of hand.
You communicate very clearly what you're intending.
Okay.
Okay, I nod. Still waiting back to see if there's any response to should I talk to them. Probably didn't understand a thing
Out
I
of the
said.
brush comes a dwarf with like kind of a scarred white skin. And on his back is a massive, what looks to be some kind of tubular device. And he's missing an arm. He goes up to one of the creatures and pats on his shoulder, and it leans down, and he gets up in the saddle.
Hmm.
Oi, you in the tree! What the hell are you doing here?
We are
Yeah, okay, go for it.
we are local landowners, and we are exploring the area around, making sure that nothing nefarious is to be found. Also, we're kind of on just a general business trip.
Landowners, huh? He pulls out a device. Would anyone like to roll me a investigation? Assuming Maracas and Ozzy, are you leaving cover to investigate? Or...
I think I'm gonna stay hidden right this second.
Hmm.
Ooh, it's not good.
Is this? Oh man, you can't tempt me with an investigation check like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maracas will break cover because he sees this item this dwarf is carrying, and he's just too curious. Also, let me know if I fail this because I can actually do something if that's the case. Oh, okay. Well, that's an 8.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
14 for
I
investigation.
got a 10 overall.
So this is
It looks like some kind of unusual stick with like metal at the end.
wait. I actually with my soul knife thing, I can use my psychic power to add a d6 to any roll I fail on a ability check. So I'm gonna try that out. See how it goes. See if I get more information out of this. All right. Does an 11 give me any more information?
You kind of get a sense from his brain. He says, "Hey, get the hell out of my head, whoever's there. It's a shotgun,
Uh,
you idiot."
Oh,
Oh.
Jesus.
No.
Shotgun. All right, that's.
So we mean you no harm. We were just surprised by your mounts. We heard them before we saw them, and when you don't understand something, sometimes it's better to get up in a tree.
Sound advice for someone who's tall.
Excuse me, Mr. Dwarf, but what is a gun?
He pulls it out of his back, shoots it in the air. Does that.
Oh, Jesus.
Bunch of birds fly everywhere. Then he shoots a bird in the air.
I can respect it.
He does this
Jarrett's
clicking sound, and the other Allosaurus goes and fetches the bird.
Is it safe to come down?
Yeah, they won't eat you unless I tell them to.
Jareth jumps down from the tree.
Would you like to meet my friends here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
This
interested.
one's Betsy. He points to the one he's riding. He does
Nice to
he
meet
does
you,
his
Betsy.
hand motion, and the Allosaurus eats the bird. That one's Pete.
Pete. Pete's cool. I'm going to actually use my primal awareness and first speak with animals. I'm going to talk to these guys.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, Betsy, right? And I point to the one that he's riding.
Well, that's what he calls me.
So what do you like to be called?
I don't have a name, really. I don't really care. He just gives me food.
Yeah, fair enough. So is he a good owner? Like, does he treat you alright?
Why, yes, he works for us plenty. He shoots and we eat.
Sounds like a good deal.
He's my favorite pet.
Yeah, I'm sure he is thinking the same thing.
Deception.
That's a 16.
You succeed.
Well, is he trustworthy? Does he hurt more people like us as they wander by, or is it just this is his home?
Oh, we scout among places. We're not originally from here.
Well, that's good to know. So he doesn't just randomly hurt people, just animals.
No, we got dumped out here in the gloom after we messed with some damn gnome.
Aha! There's the rub. All right, thank you very much. I will.
You sense a portal nearby.
Yeah, I will use my ability to focus on it.
It's in the air about 15 feet, pointed down.
Did you drop from the sky?
Yeah.
Figures.
Yeah.
I'll switch back to common. All right. So you out here by yourself?
I mean, I got my Allosauruses.
You want a job?
He leans in close. He's missing like teeth that are filled in with gold fillings, and he says, "How much you paying?"
Well, I mean, considering you would be our royal scout,
Royal. I don't work for no stinking royals.
I'm not technically royal. Jareth goes in, giving him the highlights of how he ended up with Croft Keep. Basically, if I don't call it royal, the people get pissed off, so you got to use the title. But really, I'm paying you to go and scout out and teach our scouts how to actually do their job.
Well, this land's easy pickings compared to where I'm from, anyway.
So you want the job or not?
I'll do it.
All right. I hand. So go ahead and talk to our steward. Well, Jareth falters at this and looks at Akon because he's not keeping up with everybody that's been hired here recently.
Yeah. Adcon goes. Well then. How are you with a blade, or are you just a gun user? And when he said gun, he's kind of like gun, like air quotations. He doesn't really know what that means.
Gun. Do you not believe my gun is more powerful than your sword?
Ooh.
Oh,
No,
Oh.
I believe it's more that we've never seen one before, so we're not sure exactly what it is.
Allow me to demonstrate. He does some finagling and he puts like something that glows bright red inside the chamber. You might want to stand back.
Yeah, I will stand back.
He points to a very old, very like this tree is huge and it's dug deep. He points at it and shoots and it turns to dust in an explosion.
Oh,
Yep, that's worth it.
it's maybe a bit more than the gun.
Jareth just points at the dinosaurs.
but at that, Adcon suddenly says, "Do you make those, or is that something you found?"
Yes and no. I find them, I acquire them, and then I make them better. He describes what he does, and he basically enchants the firearms that he finds. He's effectively an arcane archer.
Adcon's going to turn to Jareth and Maracus, and he's going to say, I mean, I've done some training with our soldiers, but,
We do need a scout.
well, it's not even that. No offense, Jareth. I've seen your hunters work. They're okay if it's small game or, things that don't really attack back. But we don't really have any good ranged, aside from yourself,
Yeah,
It's holding a keep.
yeah, I get you.
Why?
This
Yeah,
If
go
you
ahead.
have competent smiths, I suppose I could draft some plans for you to build some things like this. It won't be as good, but they'll do the trick.
How easy is something like this to use?
Depends. How close are they?
Say, short bow range.
You hit them most of the time, even if you're not that good.
I can live with that.
I kind of look at the rest of them and go, Do we are we wasting him as a scout? Should we not bring him in? And
Well, he'd be the scout master, which means he trains the scout and would basically be in the guard.
We can get the power of these guns on our side.
That too.
We don't have to worry about food really ever again. These are obviously very powerful not artifacts, but items.
They might be artifacts. I don't know.
Well, most guns won't be that. He points to the tree that got pretty much turned to ashes. Aren't that good? That's my own special. He does this weird motion with his fingers, finessing.
I mean, can they take down a stag?
How much of the stag do you want left?
Preferably most of it.
Yeah, we want mainly the scout's job is to get food and be our first line of defense.
Yeah, I
No,
don't think
half
they're
of that's
gonna
covered.
stag.
I'm okay with this. What do you guys think?
I mean, if you guys are hurting people as badly as you seem to be.
yeah, so at this point, then I think if we're okay with this, Akon is going to. Akon has been kind of doing these, like making these little marks, almost like brooches, but just like very poorly done. It's really like a piece of wood that has that he's taken an like a just a iron to, and he's kind of carved out like a oh what are those called, like
Like a
burning
wood burning?
yeah, like wood burning. Like it's just a really really bad version of our symbol. Like it doesn't even really look like an hourglass with scorpion tail. It really just looks like almost like a rectangle with some worse swirly things around it. Like it's really bad.
You're handing it to a dwarf. He will improve it in about 3 days.
He looks at you almost condescendingly at the craftsmanship.
I'm busy with other things. But he's going to give him that, and then he's going to say, "Yeah, I think if you just give it to some of the guards that are at the gate, they'll understand. We'll be back to talk soon."
When you get there, go find Rufus. Rufus
Yeah,
Sandy.
Rufus is the man.
Oh, great. All right. I hope he's human.
All right, welcome
one of them
aboard,
filthy
Scoutmaster. Oh no, we don't like that particular gnome. We have our own issues with him.
They're all the
No.
same.
Yeah, probably. I've only met 2 in my life, so yeah.
Thinking they're better than me. He spits on the ground.
All right, well, welcome aboard, Scoutmaster.
All right. He costs 15 gold pieces a day.
Ooh, he's expensive.
Yeah, he is. I literally have that on me. I will give him 15 gold pieces.
Yeah, for access to guns,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
True.
guns and 2 Allosauruses.
I am
Can't go wrong with
broke
that.
now.
Yeah, guns and dinosaurs. What more do we need?
Not to mention that they are male and female dinosaurs.
Breeding
Ooh,
pair.
we get more.
Oh.
Oh, heck yeah. So we will set up his pay and continue on as he walks off. We'll give him directions to the place as well.
Okay. He'll get there in no trouble. So,
Did that
who wants
guy-
to roll to see if the guards don't panic?
This is a flat D20.
Yeah.
Should I do it?
I mean,
We should let
I can-
Ozzy do this one.
Damn, why did
Yep.
we go back with him?
Go ahead, because we do need to go to the trade city.
Yeah, true
All right,
enough.
flat D20.
Do you hear me?
Nat 1.
Oh no,
Did you roll a nat 1?
He
Nat
did.
1.
Lovely. I love it.
oh no. Oh god, we're gonna have some dead guards.
Or a dead man, either way.
He gets to the gate. The guys close it, panic. He kicks it open and says, "I'm here to chew gum and fuck some winches, and I'm all out of gum." Cut the
Oh.
blood.
Oh no.
I'm a new scoutmaster.
Oh boy.
I like him already.
Where can I find this Rufus fella? And well, let me roll severity actually, because these two might accidentally burn down your inn.
Yeah,
Okay, low severity.
it's not the first time it's happened though.
They start a fire and it gets put out pretty quick.
That's not too bad.
Nah.
I hate to
All
do this
right.
to you guys, but I'm going to have to step out
That's
now.
what I was about to say. It's perfect time to end the session.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that works too. I have to go eat food and stuff. Work soon.
We pan out with all our characters walking down this road and smoke slowly billowing up in the background.
Yeah.
Don't notice.
Burning in.
The keep is burning behind us. Horrible
Yep.
things.
We have no idea.
We have absolutely no idea.
but you're gonna have to find a lot of meat every day.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
That's his job.
Yeah, that is his job, literally. Told him the scouts are in charge of hunting and first line of defense, scouting the area. So that literally is his job.
Yep, and eventually he'll recommend building scout posts inside the forest.
Which is not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually.
Great idea.
We put up a
Alright.
bunch of flyers talking about a concert for goblins. We just feed all the goblins that come by. The Allosauruses. We're good to go.
I am going to run. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Later, man.
All
All right,
no
have a good
worries.
one.
I'll go and get.
So what did you guys think of the session?
It was pretty good.
that was great.
It's a very interesting character.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really thought the Nat one was just gonna kill him. I was like, oh well, that was a shame.
I honestly
so
thought,
did I.
yeah, I thought it was gonna be the end of like half of the settlers that keep.
Oh, man.
I was gonna be blown away.
The thing that saved them, from a massacre, was the fact he had that poorly made symbol.
Oh,
Which, as I said, a dwarf working that can work a forge, yeah, we're going to have a better one in no time.
oh no kidding.
Well, he's no blacksmith, but
It doesn't matter.
It's something.
Yeah, it'll be better. I didn't say how much better.
by the
Oh,
way,
yeah, I
in case you
have-
guys didn't know, guns are not native to this world.
I figured.
I figured as well, because Jareth has no idea what a gun is.
I wish I'd rolled a better check on that. God damn it.
Of course,
So we-
you know how OP it is, but no one else does.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, your character doesn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an arcane archer that uses firearms.
We just introduced guns to the world.
Question is, are you going to be the conquering heroes?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm going to want to thank everyone who listened to this session. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.